Hey, what's good, YouTube? How y'all doing today? I'm gonna keep this video, short. I guess you could say short and somewhat sweet. But I'm gonna talk about cussing. Maybe y'all don't care about this topic because y'all probably cussing up storm. Your kids probably cussing. You watch TV but cussing. Everybody cussing, and I just never took cussing as a term of endearment, a pat on the back, a good hey, you did a great job. I never thought I heard somebody cussing back like in my heart and my soul is like, bro, like I don't it don't feel good. It don't feel good. I don't know what you flip it. I don't know. That's the topic today. We're gonna talk about cussing. I don't know. I try to look it up. I try to research cussing and it doesn't come up with anything really. It's like, oh, some in ancient times or something, they started cussing in some way or another, and then but it came like a norm in English culture, with the English language basically. Like English people, we got English language. We was like, oh yeah, you know what? You know what words we can add here is cuss words. I think this should be a part of the dictionary is cuss words, right? So it's like because cussing in its form, it doesn't mean good things. It doesn't mean like, oh man, you did good, whatever the case may be. It don't mean none of that stuff. So I'm just trying to figure it out. But I'm gonna say you something, right? As I say all the time, hey man, look, this is make share this video is personal experience. It's for entertainment purposes only. Like I'm not here to tell nobody they should start cussing or nothing like that. But I think you probably should think about what you're doing and using this foul language. Like personally, I don't cuss. Like I don't cuss. I I haven't said that I haven't cussed in the past. I haven't used cuss words when I was a kid, younger, or when I was an adult. I'm not gonna say that. But right now, I don't cuss. Right, and I might stub my toe or something like that, and some words might come out of my mouth or whatever it may be. But 99% of the time, I don't use any cuss words. I don't use any cuss words. 99% of the time. This is me. I'm not telling you you can't do it or nothing like that. I'm not telling you to do any of that. All I'm saying is that whatever you want to do you or whatever. But I just don't understand it, right? Because it's profanity, right? When you say profanity, does profanity sound good? Does it sound like, hey, Brad, you did a good job. I'm your friend, right? It doesn't express happiness. It doesn't express, oh, Brad, you did a good job. Like, it doesn't express none of that stuff, right? It says swear words. So you got cussing, swear. Like, it doesn't sound good. Like, maybe I'm tripping. People in the comments let me know if I'm tripping. I might be tripping. I might be out my mind. Like I just might be a delusional person. Cause I understand. Like I go to my job. People cuss my job. My kids go to school. They cuss it. The kids cuss it. I was coaching my son's basketball team or whatever, and one of the boys he cussed. I was like, oh no, we don't cuss on my team. Like we don't do that. I could tell him that because he a kid. He was making millions of dollars in the NBA. I probably couldn't say that like that. But I'm like, this cussing stuff is ridiculous. Or the N word, any of these words, I don't get it. I don't get how we're trying to this like term of endearment situation. Like it is offensive. Like to me, it's offensive. To somebody else, it's probably not that offensive or whatever. And I get it, right? Because like certain situations, like it's just it's a skit that I see on TikTok sometimes, and the guy, right? He approaches girls like just regular voice. Like he approaches some girls in his regular voice, and he be like, oh, how you doing, whatever, and then like dismiss them. They'll walk past them. They're like, whatever, like man, get out my face. All the stuff like that. They'll throw all that stuff in there. But then he'll walk around, right? Like, like he got, like he's gay, right? He'll walk like he's gay. He's like, hey girl, hey B, he'll say the B word, hey, how you doing? What's she looking like? And try to change the number, right? And then he'll get the phone number, and then his voice will change back to regular. He's like, hey, oh yeah, we can hang out. And the girls were like, wait a minute, what are you doing? But it was like somebody literally, if they're gay, right, they could go to a woman, right, and and say it. If they say it a certain way, right, it's a term of endearment. And they're like, oh, is that right? And we good. But if a guy with a deep voice is there straight up, we gonna be fighting. You might have not have a good situation. So it's just it doesn't make any sense. It's just like why? Where is the linear of things where we can use these words jacked up? And I understand some people are like, oh well, you can use regular words in a far way. Yeah, you can, but it's like your intentions change. Like I think you have to really think about your intentions. With cussing, like you have to understand what's your audience. You really got to understand what your audience is when you cussing, because you can't just walk up to anybody and cuss at them, right? Because they will be offended. Now, if I just walk up to a person and we boys and we cool, whatever, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Whatever, blah, 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 whatever, because I don't really cuss out use the word. So y'all will be like, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. But right, I might be using like, blah, blah, some of these words, or whatever, because I don't really use these words. But that's how the situation is, right? It's offensive. Like, I don't get it. It's like, because I served in the military, so I heard some cussing, and I feel, people will cuss at you like to see if they get you to move and do things, and it's like it's kind of movement in fear. It's not a movement. It's like, okay, let's get a job done. Let's get to a certain goal. Let's get to a certain thing, right? And it's crazy. Like I looked at the definition. It was like cussing has various psychological impacts. Like psychological, it serves as a stress relief. It helps reduce pain and stress tolerance during challenging situations. Additionally, swearing can foster social bonding, express strong emotions. However, excessive cursing may lead to negative perceptions, potentially affecting one's image and relationships. Ultimately, it affects vary based on context, audience, and the individual temperament. So it all is what we just said. It went from like it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, based on the situation, based on the audience, or whatever, right? So I know you watch a comedy show and they're cussing, right? You watch a movie, they're cussing. It, you can't avoid cussing. I'm not serious, but I just personally myself, I can avoid not saying it. I understand. Probably can't avoid hearing people cuss, seeing movies that people cuss in. Like I probably could avoid movies or whatever. But me being at work, maybe I probably can't really avoid cussing or in an open environment, right? I can't avoid those things or whatever. But movies, yeah, I probably could start watching movies that have cussing in it or anything that I don't really agree with that got in it. I could just be like, you know what, I'm not doing that stuff like that. I'm not even gonna mess with that stuff, right? So it's like, but it's like with certain situations, like if you working right in certain places where you work at, you can't cuss. Like you can't go in there and be cussing out of store in some places that you work. You might get fired. You might legit get fired. And it's like that's what I'm saying. And it continues like every definition I found, it was like, oh, no, you depends on the audience, depends on the context, depends on this, depends on that. It's too many dependents. It's too many depends. You got to depend on too much, right? It's like where it depends. You wear it depend. You wear it depends on what peel yourself. Like, what are you talking about? It's too many depend on this, on that, and that stuff like that. I just choose not to cuss. I don't get it. People who like cuss, I really don't get it. Maybe in the comments you could let me know like what it helps you or something like that. But I just think cussing to say it like it's something wrong, right? Something's wrong. You're doing something wrong. You're not doing something right. It's just like somebody who talks to you regular every day and they start yelling at you one day. Like it changes the dynamic of the conversation. Like you cussing at me for whatever reason, I'm not moving. I'm not worried about it. Like if somebody yelling at me, I'm like, bro, like okay, you yelling at me, you better get out my face with all that, right? And there's healthier ways to express how you feel. You can say, yeah, this is great, this is whatever. You can use regular English words. Cussing should be a part of your conversation. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. And we're talking and stuff like that. We're just talking. At the end of the day, we're just talking with each other. And I just want, like, make sure it doesn't take much to like, share, right? Ring that bell so you can get more videos like this or better. All right, yeah. I don't edit videos. I just make the video. That's why you probably gonna see me doing this and doing that and doing it and doing that. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm just here to have fun and talk and have conversations. You know, we gonna talk. We talking about cussing. You know, all this cussing. I still don't get it. But, you know, people in the comments, man, you watch the video, let me know, like, what makes cussing okay? Like, I get, oh, a lot of people do it. Like, what makes cussing okay? Like, a lot of people do it. Majority of the world, for the most part, right, does it. I don't necessarily do it. I don't really hang out with a lot of people that cuss, like my friends or whatever, family friends, stuff like that. My siblings really don't cuss. I, I don't even remember the last time I heard even one of my sisters or brothers cuss. Like, it's weird. Like, if I would have heard, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know you had a voice like that. I would be like, ooh, see what you do with it, all right? But you know, I don't really cuss. So I ain't even heard my mother-in-law cuss. I think she probably cussed a couple times here and there, but I ain't never heard her like cuss, cuss, cuss. You know, my wife, I don't even think my wife cuss. She ain't really cuss. Like, even my kids don't be cussing. Like, because we, you know, me and my wife, we don't cuss. We don't use you know, that language for the most part. I mean, they might hear music, you know, listen to music. You know, kids listen to certain music, wherever. Like, might have some cussing in it and stuff like that. But even that, like, even my kids right now, they trying to get the clean version of it or whatever and stuff like that. And, you know, better things like that. So, with that, you know, it's like that, right? So, I don't get these definitions. It says foster camaraderie, express strong. Like, I don't get how that makes sense. Because if I call, if I'm telling you, I walk up any lady and call them a B, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Now if I'm gay and I'm like, hey, they call a B, they be like, oh, this, you know, we cool, whatever. But I don't think it's okay on any circumstances to be calling a girl out their name, even if you're trying to play it off like it's, you know, like you're doing some term of endearment, like, oh, hey, you doing, hey, girl, how you doing, whatever. I just don't get it. This video's gonna be short, man. I tried to do on cussing, but it was a lot of things on cussing. You know, maybe I need to do a better channel, to be a better topic or whatever. I'm probably gonna do. Ain't no part two is gonna be coming for this one, but it's gonna be a nice, quick, short one. Um, it doesn't take much to like, share, and subscribe. But I want you to think like it anyway, right? I need to learn how to speak better because I say like a lot, and you know, and I have heard that, you know, that's a lack of confidence or it's a lack of something. So I need to learn how to speak better so I can make better videos, be more clear and clarify what I'm saying and be more direct and a little bit more structured. And I'm working on that, and you know, I'm working through the process, but each week I hope I get better each week. I think y'all, right? It doesn't take much, right? To like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get more videos. I'm gonna have another episode next week, and I'm gonna make sure, I need to make sure that I'm doing videos. I'm doing like multiple videos a week, whatever, so I can push these things out every week and be consistent. And y'all won't be waiting on a video and I could like launch the video and all that good stuff. But y'all be good. Just one last thought on cussing. I just think we should try to find better words, right? And a little bit more eloquent and enunciate our words and speak better and just speak in an environment that you can speak in any environment. You don't have to worry about the audience or the context or anything like that. If you're speaking English, you're not using any cuss words, right? So I'm just leaving y'all with that, right? Just know that when you don't use cuss words, you can be in any audience, and it's not going to offend anybody unless you're just being disrespectful or something like that. But if you don't use cuss words, it's not going to offend anybody for the most part. But y'all be good. Have a good one. It's Tuesday, July 15th. Y'all be good, 2025. All right. Peace.